Hello everybody, I'm Brian from Orchids by Brian, and welcome to my June What's in Bloom Orchid Collection update. I have a couple of things in bloom this month. It's summertime, and surprisingly I have more than I thought I would. So let's get started and show you what I have in bloom. Alright, so this is my Fragma M Pieri. This is a species frag from Ecuagenera, and it is a beautiful, beautiful plant. Look at the size of this plant. This plant is humongous, really, really big, and it has multiple blooms. These flowers are just stunning. They have that little corkscrew petals and this really unique spotting on the inside of the lip of the labellum. Look at that. That is so pretty. I love these flowers. Okay, so over here is another Fragma M. This is my Fragma M Carolcaner, St. Leonard Creek. Really nice frag. You can see it's also the kind of thin-leaved, grassy type Fragma M. It's got a new growth coming. I picked this guy up from Woodstream Orchids in Maryland, and it's a stunning hybrid. Reminds me a little bit of Pieri in how the plant is, but still very different. I really like that. Over here, this is my Ricula Leia section, or one of two sections of Ricula Leias, and I have a couple new ones I wanted to highlight. One is this Laelia Crispata, and then a Laelia Orada, and then this is a brand new Sophronitis. Sophronitis hybrid I just picked up. Sophronitis riograndensis crossed with Laelia lucasiana. So it was in bloom when it came in, but the bloom was all done. So have to wait probably till next year to see that flower. But still, beautiful plant. Picked it up from my friend Kelly from HD Orchids on Instagram. Hi Desert Orchids, and super beautiful plants. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you should, because I love her Instagram. She inspires a lot of my plants that I buy. She has a really great collection. Okay, so over here is a Mazda Valia that's been in bloom for several months for me. This is my Mazda Valia Gold Dust Romeo. It's a really unique Mazda Valia in that it is warmth tolerant, and it also has these super fine hairs inside the flower that give it this banana boat sunscreen-like fragrance. And it also has this like purple hue, as you can see in the video, which I love. It adds so much depth to the flower, and it just keeps blooming for me, and it lasts for a really long time. So if you're looking for a Mazda Valia that can handle warm temperatures, this one is a great hybrid to consider. Okay, over here is my Schoenorchis fragrans, finally in bloom for me. I am so excited about this flower. A little Vanda relative, and the flowers are so small and petite, but super pretty, and it grows really well for me. Now above it, it's not in bloom yet, but it's in bud. Check this out. This is an Arangus punctata with 7 flowers. If I counted correctly, it actually might be 8 now that I'm looking at it. But still, I am so stoked to see all these flowers, all these buds open up on the Arangus punctata. So that'll be a first time bloom for me. My Restrepia Royi. Unfortunately, I'm filming this video in late June, so some things are done blooming or not opened right now. They'll end up being opened in July too, but I'll put a video of my Restrepia Royi in the video. Super easy to grow. Restrepia stays somewhat compact, and it grows well in my intermediate, sometimes warm conditions, usually true intermediate conditions, but beautiful Restrepia. And then beyond it is my Restrepia purpurea, which doesn't have any new flowers, but some new growth. So excited about that plant. Up here is my Pluralis Mista, species Pluralis, that has 1 flower right now, And you can see in the video a super tiny bud for another flower on the way. This plant seems to free flower all year round, and it just keeps growing. I love it. Beautiful Pluralis also grows intermediate, and I picked it up from Andy's Orchids. So if you're looking for a super cool miniature that's easy to grow, this is a really fantastic option. Now, down here is my Pluralis Prune, and it is also in bloom. You can see the flower right there. Kind of got tangled up, I think, when I was reorganizing, so I'll show you a video of those flowers. But tons of new growths coming. That plant also just keeps flowering off of just about every leaf it produces, and it grows and makes new growths just constantly. So really, really fantastic Pluralis. Okay, coming down here, there are a couple new blooms on this side, or this shelf of the grow tent. Right here is my Heria Orada. It has 2 buds. I hope they open. I've been unsuccessful in the past with blooms from this guy, but it's supposed to be pretty easy to grow and easy to bloom, so I'm hoping maybe it just had some trouble the first time and these 2 buds open for me, so fingers crossed. Now right here, check this out. This is a Specola Grobi, or a mini version of Pluralis Grobi, and it has this beautiful flush of yellow flowers that come out of the top of the plant. They're yellow, they have a little bit of red on the inside. I think I'm catching this at the end of its end of its blooming cycle, so I'm sure it would have been prettier at the beginning, but still, what a fantastic miniature. Look at how small that is. That is probably the size of my thumb. It is super tiny, but I love, love, love the flowers on this. Okay. Not much else over here is growing and blooming. This is my Agapi serpens. It is growing for me. It's got some new growths. It's another neotropical blueberry. One of 3 neotropical blueberries I have in my collection. And then I have some buds, some spikes from my Ricula Leia. We'll see if that blooms out. They are super sensitive, what I'm realizing, to growth. Oh, and I just want, let me highlight this too quick. This is a brand new pickup from my trip to Emerald City Orchids. This is a Lapanthes aculeata, my first Lapanthes, and I have a couple other Lapanthes on the way, and I'm excited to show you those, but really cute little plant. I'm excited for it to bloom eventually and highlight that in the tour. Okay, coming down here, here is my Mazda Valia discoida. Species Mazda Valia has these cool little purple flowers, and it just keeps blooming. It's never stopped for months now, and it is a fantastic Mazda Valia, easy to grow. Highly suggest adding this to your collection if you love these little kite-shaped flowers. Now, check out this bloom. This is my Bulbophyllum Emily Seagrist. This is the second bloom for this guy. It blooms in a huge flush in the winter, but here it is halfway to its big flush, and it's blooming for me here. Really fantastic plant. It is turning into a specimen size plant very quickly. So if that is something you're looking for, a fast growing Bulbophyllum that blooms a lot, this is a good one. And here are a couple other pickups from Emerald City Orchids. This is a Laelia Harpophylla and a Laelia Crispata. I'm hoping the Laelia Crispata is in bloom. Looks like it might have a flower spike coming. Not sure if it's empty or not, but time will tell. All right, so let's go transition over to my Cattleya shelf, and I will show you all the things blooming over there. So for Cattleyas, I have only a few new blooms, but I do have some buds on the way for July, and I'm really excited about my July What's in Bloom. There's so much that you're gonna love to see. But this guy is blooming here in June. This is a hybrid Cattleya orchid. This is a RLC Stippled Sunset. Really beautiful spotted Cattleya from my pals over at Sunset Valley Orchids, particularly my friend Ruben. If you're interested in seeing more plants from Ruben, I just got a shipment in from him and I did an unboxing video, so be sure to check that out. But this is the quality and the kind of orchids you can pick up from him. They are stunning. Really, really, really nice. I also want to highlight this guy over here I picked up from Waldo Orchids. This is a Cattleya, a variegated Cattleya orchid, which I think is super, super unique. Here's the name. I'm not going to pull the tag on this one, but really wonderful, wonderful Cattleya. I'm excited to see the flower. It's really, really cool. But yeah, you don't see this very often. I've never seen it before. So it's kind of exciting to add it to the collection. It definitely is on the pricier side, but well worth it. This is an LC Moonlight Dream Carlos. This is one of the plants I picked up from Ruben. And I also picked up this wonderful Cattleya Clandii hybrid. I love my Clandii, so excited to have this guy in that collection. Now down here are the remaining orchids that are in bloom or bud for me. My rusted spot, excuse me, rusted spot is still in bloom. Just keeps blooming for me. This time the flowers are super speckled with red, with that dark cranberry on the orange yellow, and it is really pretty. I love this plant. It just blooms and blooms and blooms. Like, I think this has got to be like the 6th or 7th time it's bloomed for me, so really wonderful. And the plant has grown a lot. Picked this guy up from Fantasy Orchids in Louisville, Colorado. Right here is my Digbyana, and it looks like we have a sheath in there. I'm hoping it'll be open in July. This thing has been teasing me for months, and it just does not seem to be opening up enough to show me if it has a flower or not. So keep your fingers crossed and hope that this guy blooms for me. Now, this is a rebloom of my Dendrobium, my Antelope Dendrobium. Super excited that I have some flowers on that guy. It has bloomed again for me, so I'm excited about that. It's almost doubled in size in a year, so it's a really strong, healthy plant, and I'm excited to see the blooms. So that's that. All right, well, that's going to conclude my tour here of my orchids in June. Nothing else blooming over on the display shelf for right now, so I'm going to close out the tour here. But I really hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm Brian from Orchids by Brian, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.